You wanted to talk about the state of hip hop?
Hell yeah,
Let's get it popping. This is the New Kings.
The New Kings. Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy SB chilling with my bro Gio, and we the New Kings.
So we're gonna talk about the state of hip hop right now.
Hell yeah.
So now when we're talking about this, we're talking about I guess 2010 and up.
Yeah, most recent.
You know, I have mixed opinions about it, but I can't. I don't know if I want to say positive or negative, but I don't know. Throughout the conversations, maybe I'll get like a more firm opinion. But I mean, people gotta remember, how hip hop was a little bit before 2010 and stuff like that. You know, when people chanting "hip hop is dead, hip hop is dead."
Nas.
Yeah, Nas, but a lot of people too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you know, honestly, I can understand where people are coming from in the negative and positive. But the positive, I would say, would be that hip hop is more diverse than it was ever. And by diverse, I mean by styles.
Oh, okay.
Like regardless of how whether styles you like or not, it's evolving. You know, there's multiple sections that you can visit and go to one section to the next. So like if you like conscious rap and stuff like that, you go there. But you also like turn up music, and it's right there. I mean, hip hop now is much larger, I think.
Yeah, it's just the fact when it's time to classify stuff, it's like people are comparing Jay-Z to like 21 Savage and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't really do that.
So that's like the only thing. It's like no balance in it. But you know, it's still evolving, so you never know how it's gonna be in 5 to 8 years.
So I mean, the criticism is mumble rap. I mean, that's the black sheep of the room. That's something we gotta talk about.
Yeah, and some people hate the term mumble rap. Like, you know, some of the people that we would classify as mumble rap. Like, I saw an interview 21 Savage. He was talking about. He said you can hear every word I'm saying. So I don't know how you classify me as mumble rap. But there is some artists that, you know, I do hear, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, for full disclosure, you know, I'm not a fan of mumble rap. I think hip hop, regardless of which generation or which decade we're talking about, the whole point is to tell me a story. Doesn't matter what kind of story, but tell me a story. It could be whatever you want it to be. Now, if I don't understand the words that are coming out through your mouth, how can you tell me a story, sir?
Conscious, like, you know, having the responsibility to be conscious enough and aware enough to, you know, uplift and help others through music. But it sometimes it's people want to have more fun with it, and sometimes people want to be a little bit more serious. Like I'm more of a serious artist. You know, I got to a point to where I you know, every song I do, I'm like conscious to where I know kids is listening, like I know people is listening. So I'm a little bit more, you know, conscious to the fact of, you know, it's not just about the beat, the 808s, like it's about the message, like it's about the emotion that you bring and like what you promoting in your music. Like, I'm
not necessarily saying about seriousness or just like just joking around. I mean, you could just be goofing off on the track all day. But the point is, I mean, the point is still of hip hop is still telling me a story.
Yeah, definitely.
So if I don't understand you, I mean, how can you tell me a story? I mean, it could be whatever you want it to be. Definitely. I'm not necessarily saying change my life, because, you know, conscious rap, you know, I can understand it's a difficult one, because with conscious rap is pretty much tell me something that I haven't heard before. Because after the waves of people like Nas and Pac and Kanye, where do you go from there?
Nah, like some people would consider T.I. as a conscious rapper at points. It's a lot of artists that, you know, basically it's common sense. Like when a lot of people was talking about conscious, sometimes it just boils down to the common sense in the music. But just like you said, it's not just about, you know, just changing lives, but for the most part, you know, it just depends on what you promoting. what you promoting.
So that's the whole thing I have with mumble rap is where does it fit? And that's the kind of the thing that I say as a negative of 2010 hip hop would be that. Because where does it fit in hip hop? I mean,
I don't know. Some people wouldn't consider it hip hop. You know.
I wouldn't consider it hip hop, to tell you the truth. And I know, but I think it would be closer to EDM.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's a thin line between, you know, mumble rap and just, you know, party songs and stuff like that. So I just feel like it just needs to be a little bit, if it was a little bit more of a balance, it wouldn't be as big of an issue. But
party songs, I mean, at least they're still saying something. At least I can, even if it's dumb, I mean, at least it's saying something. I don't understand nothing.
For real. But then when you think about it, when you come to like, when you're thinking about like good hip hop albums, because you know, first, most of the time, you know, mumble rappers, they're mainly coming with singles and stuff like that. But when you're talking about albums, like the first names that come to mind, if we're talking about good albums so far this year in 2017, it's like Kendrick, Joey Badass, Rick Ross. You know, Jay-Z just came out with a banger. I like Logic album and 2 Chainz, even though, you know, he's trying to put a spin on, you know, the trap, but make it a little bit more positive. I see what he's doing, but he is, you know, becoming more conscious as the years go by in his music. So, you know, I feel like when you talking about hip hop albums, like, you know, a message, like, you know, a story has to have something in there.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is a story.
Definitely.
So you wouldn't put a mumble rapper on your top 10 list this year?
No. That's why we value when the discussion is mumble rap versus conscious rap. I'm more on the conscious rap side because I'm more of, you know, I'm the type of person that's trying to learn every day. So it's like, you know, when I heard Jay-Z's album, I was just, you know, like, there's some cool jewels that he was, you know, giving out, and Kendrick's album as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed 444, to be honest. The thing is with that album is, I mean, it was more like a love letter to the Jay-Z fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I took out of it.
Definitely.
Because it was more about like his position in life, his story, and even like a lot of the stuff that his personal life was in that album. So I feel that was more like for the people who stuck by him and stuff like that, that was the album for you.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Well, we'll eventually review it, but
We'll have a whole
overall,
review.
I mean, just spoiler alert, I took it as a positive album.
Oh yeah, I would give it at least an 8.5 out of 10. Because, you know, it's Jay and the influence, and sometimes people don't, you know, may not get the message all the way through, but we'll talk about that more on our album review. But you know, it's a lot of artists out there that's, you know, sometimes they all kumbaya, and then sometimes, you know, they fired up and they dissing each other. Like, what's one of your like hottest diss tracks that you like still like to this day?
Hottest diss tracks?
Yeah.
That was a semi-smooth transition. All right. Well, Second Round Knockout is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Cannabis,
I haven't heard that in a while.
LL Cool J.
I haven't heard that in a while. I think I don't know, cause back in the day, like, you know, if you would ask me anytime, you know, Ether would be the first thing that come off my mind, just because it was like that, the presence that he had on that, his delivery on that song just made you like, whoa.
That was probably the best rap beef, I would say, of all time. I would even pass that over the Biggie and Pac beef.
Biggie and Pac?
Yeah. I put that was the best one, in my opinion.
I think the Biggie and Pac had the most impact on the, you know, hip hop culture, but as far as like more entertaining and more, you know, actual like bars and lyrics is just so crazy out of this world. In beefing, you know, mano y mano, I would agree with you on that one.
I mean, I wanted to put the Biggie and Pac one maybe first, but the problem is, like, I don't know, the fact that they both died because of it, kind of like pulls it back though, you know, because maybe we were all better without that beef.
You right. Damn, yeah, you right about that. Like, yeah. How do you think hip hop would be if, you know, even though it's like hard to really know, but how do you think hip hop would be if they was still around? Do you think mumble rap would be as prevalent as it is in the culture today?
I think so. Because again, hip hop, like again, for something to survive, it must adapt and evolve. I mean, although if hip hop remained the same 90s beats, 90s style, then it would eventually died. I mean, disco is the perfect example of that. It stayed exactly the same for over 10 years, and people got tired of it. And it's hard to say. I mean, since you and I, we grew up with Pac and Big and Nas, their music is always going to be important to us and always going to be prevalent in our lives.
Definitely.
But we'll be talking about like the new kids coming up, the people growing up like maybe around now, they're probably going to look at that style as outdated.
Yeah, they be like, they're gonna be like, I want to hear some yeah in it. You know? But you right about that. You right.
And the whole thing with Tupac and Biggie is like, I mean, the references and stuff like that. I mean, you kind of have to been around that time to understand it.
Definitely.
So, you know, as it is, every decade has new concerns, has new passions, has a new lifestyle. So I'm saying it might feel outdated. Like, for example, like, could you get someone like, I mean, a lot of people who talk about hip hop, they necessarily don't talk about the 80s anymore, the 70s.
Yeah, you right.
Late 70s.
Yeah, because, you know, over time, it seemed more ancient and more ancient as, you know, like new sound is being developed and new ways of you know, being an artist and entertaining. And, you know, like when new things come out, like now with the internet wave and the streaming, everything is like just switched up the whole plan of the labels and everything. They have to, like, you know, go with the flow and figure out what's the new trend that's going to come out that's going to change everything. And yeah, it's definitely
the internet definitely did wonders to hip hop, because you got to understand, like regardless of, you don't have to like beg producers to hear your style and have them take a risk. You can take your own risk, go online, you know, and spit something, and if the right person finds it, then boom, you blow up.
Definitely. And the way the internet is now, you know, it's definitely a lot easier to, you know, be seen. You know, it's still good it's prevalent to have the talent still, but now it's like a lot of people I hear say grinding triumphs talent, because if you're not, you know, utilizing your talent to the highest capability, then somebody who's not as good but more efficient may surpass you, you know, not based on talent but based on the grind.
I agree on that. I mean, some people, you know, like a lot of people, we all want to try things and stuff like that, and some things aren't meant for you though. So I would say talent, you naturally need a natural talent. I mean, with hip hop, the voice, the spoken word is pretty much all your strength. What stories can you bring up to in your head? The sound, your flow with the rhythm, the voice, that all entails into that. If you're missing one, then that's gonna be hard for you to pop in. I mean, maybe you do good as a ghostwriter, but on that note, I mean, you're a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
So I know you have a lot more to contribute on this. So, okay. Tell me how you would get started.
How I would get started, I would say if you have producer capabilities, like to make your own beats, or you can get with a producer and try to come up with some original songs. A lot of people first go to is, you know, like mixtape songs, so they're just hopping on other people's tracks, which is good to get yourself out there. But when you're talking about longevity and, you know, trying to make it in the game as far as like making money, it's a few steps that you have to take before you're able to make anything from it. You have to put some money into yourself. You have to invest in yourself.
How long have you been in the game?
I've been making music for a decade now.
Damn.
And I had a lot of ups and downs and stuff. I was signed throughout my whole high school. Like, you know, everybody was going to prom, I was going to the studio. And, you know, I didn't go to many parties and stuff because I was always at the studio. I was that dedicated. And
you made the music for the parties.
Definitely. And things didn't work out as it should, but I left that situation with more knowledge than I would have if I never was, you know, in that situation. So it's like, you know, everything is like a gift and a curse. It's like learning, and you just got to keep going. A lot of artists, you know, it's like getting, you know, if you're digging for treasure and you just have one more scoop to get up before you reach the treasure. A lot of artists are just they'll stop it before they can reach
Perseverance.
Yeah,
that's what we're
definitely.
talking about. All right.
So I'm saying that because I've been doing it for so long. So it's just like sometimes I wanted to quit a few times, and I just had people in my corner that just helped me and guide me and let me know like you just got to keep going and keep doing it.
There's a lot of adaptability involved too. Definitely. And I know since you've been around a decade, I mean, you're very important to this conversation because
Definitely.
like you had to probably change up a couple things.
Oh yeah, it's always a learning process. If you're not learning, the person that doesn't know that they need to learn is the one that thinks they know it all. And if you think you know it all in this day and age, and especially in this like industry, it's definitely come a surprise because things is constantly changing. So it's like the labels didn't foresee the streaming to be as prevalent as it is now. So now they're trying to figure out how can they compete with artists that want to be independent, because it's not back in the day I wanted to be signed, like I was going that much more harder because I wanted to be signed by like a big label. Even when I was on a small label, we wanted some type of distribution deal and stuff. We had talks and stuff like that. I met people like Fat Joe. We talked to a lot of people and stuff like that. Things doesn't always work out, and we done business with a lot of people and ended up we just out of thousands of dollars. So it's definitely a long process, doing shows, and the sound quality is all messed up. Over a decade worth of, just making music, going through the ups and downs. I feel like, I definitely learned a lot, and I definitely want to let other artists and producers know that, you just got to keep going, and you just got to find your voice, because a lot of artists is trying to find what's trendy, but always just looking for something that's trendy isn't going to get you to where you want to go, because if people only know you by one sound and that sound wasn't really you, by the end of the day you'll just be chasing the next trend that's going around, or once you want to reveal your true self, people are going to say that's not you.
Oh damn.
so it's the advice that I would give to up and coming artists is to make sure that you stay true to self and think about what you're doing with the music. Think about your influence. As an artist, we don't always say we want to be the role model, just because we know a role model is perceived like everything you do is supposed to be perfect. But as hip hop artists, sometimes that's always not the case. So but if you try to model yourself in some type of way to just try to help the people that's watching you, try to help your hood, so to speak, help your fans, like help your friends and stuff like that. Like I don't know, it's just like certain areas, it's it takes a village to raise a child.
Okay. So
and that can be taken into many different factors.
I don't even know my neighbors.
but yeah, like even when it comes to music, I have a few artists that I helped and helped them become the artists that they is today. And if they didn't have me as a mentor, or a few other artists or producers as mentors, they wouldn't be able to strive as fast. Because if you're around somebody, that's why I have a lot of mentors, because if you're around people that have been through it all, and can give you great advice versus to just going off my own way, or going off somebody's opinion that doesn't really know what they're talking about. So it's always good to stay mindful. So I just let a lot of artists know that make sure you get your paperwork right, make sure you get your stuff copyrighted, make sure you get your name and your business incorporated, and just take off. Just keep going, don't let nothing stop, and get to the top.
Okay.
New King style, you feel me?
So, before we head off in this segment, do you want to give the people a little something?
Well,
A little freestyle?
You know.
All right, let's pump it up a little louder. All right. Mr. Burley.
Yeah.
Are you ready to speak your piece?
You already.
This is the New Kings. Let's get it poppin'. Go.
Respect the technique, my flow deep. So deep you need to be like Bruce Lee to kick it with me. Young one they look up to like an OG. So show respect, pay up if you owe me. Addicted to this music, I done OD'd. Keep driving till I'm on E. If you know me, no days off means no sleep. Cause money running through my mind like all week. Sheesh. Went from a little to a feast, from a youngin' to a beast. Heat. Yeah, like a dragon when I'm spitting hieroglyphics when I speak. Reach a higher destination to the peak, then past that. Since a young lad, yeah, visions I had that. On the road to wealth, yeah, I can't backtrack.
That was episode 1. That was the first episode.
New King.
And look what you got.
New
You're
Kings.
welcome. You want to know more about us? Check us out on Twitter, YouTube, and whatever the hell we got.
Facebook, Instagram, we got it all.